with friends and cat.
All right, we're live. This is CREvolve, and we are your hosts. Bucky, I'll let you go first.
My name is Bucky Beeman. I am a commercial real estate agent in Rochester, Minnesota, and I'm a partner at Realty Growth Incorporated. And I love creating content. And I think one question I'd like to ask you guys after our intro is like, why are we here? Well, this is definitely not the first time we've had this conversation. So I want to talk about, to anybody that decides to tune in, what interests us in coming together. So go for it, Julie.
Excellent. Hi, Bucky and Rivers. My name is Julie Augustin, and I just joined on with the Foundry Commercial Real Estate team here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I have a true interest in commercial real estate technology, and we'll answer the questions more. But yeah, my focus is retail.
Awesome. And I'm Rivers Evans, and I am getting back into commercial real estate brokerage after a stint in technology. Prior to that, I was in multifamily land brokerage and investments.
So what interests you, Rivers, in having these conversations with Julie and I?
Well, yeah, I actually connected with y'all over social media through Twitter, and I realized that I wasn't having a lot of conversations locally about commercial real estate technology. And with my passion in technology and also for real estate, I was just seeking out other people who had that in common. Now that I've talked a little bit more with y'all and we've shared a lot of ideas back and forth, I'm really interested in sharing those ideas with the community.
Awesome. What do you think, Julie? What's pulling you to continue to have these conversations? This is probably our fifth conversation.
Yeah, definitely. And I thank Rich Hoppen for connecting us. I mean, in-person conversations. I know you and I have been talking via Twitter now for a while. And yeah, as far as for me, you know, I've attended a lot of conferences regarding commercial real estate technology. And this is just an excellent opportunity to talk real time, talk live, and about things that we're using, things that we're seeing, and just be able to really see what's working and make sure we're staying ahead of it.
Awesome. I agree as well. I think that I recognize there wasn't a really big community of commercial real estate professionals, people talking about CRE tech. There was the individuals. We all know Duke Long and other people we could name. But I wanted to try to, continue a conversation with people outside of just the Twitter world where it seems like CRE tech conversations exist. Right. And I'm with both of you as to why I'm here and why we keep having these fun conversations about the industry we all love. So,
you feel like Twitter becomes kind of an echo chamber? We need to spread out our roots a little further.
Absolutely. And I just feel like video is so real. I mean, Twitter, it works. Don't get me wrong. It's not fake, but there's definitely a lot of distraction. And when we have these Google Hangouts, we're talking about the thing I love, the thing that you both love, the commercial real estate industry in general, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then it's cool to see how these conversations continue outside of just this Google Hangout. Throughout the week, in different platforms, whether it's Snapchat or Twitter. It's really cool to see as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. So I think in keeping with tradition with some of the conversations we've had every week, maybe we could continue with a topic. There was a topic you brought up last week, particularly about the new age of brokerage. And what exactly did you mean when you said that, Bucky?
I just think it's interesting to see companies like the Square Foot come up and how they're building out a brokerage company, but how it's heavily geared towards tech. And Rich, who isn't here this evening, he introduced us to the Square Foot and really shared about the difference of how that company is built. And I noticed it right away of looking at their website and how they didn't focus on agents, advisors, brokers. They really just focused on the inventory of the spaces, and it appears that their company is heavily investing in internet marketing and overall being number one within searches within the markets that they're in order to encourage leads, encourage people to inquire on their website, which then in turn keeps their agents busy. And so when I think new age brokerage, it's just a newer business model I've never seen or heard of, and I'm sure there's other models. I see some in residential as well, and just gets me thinking, like, where are we headed as an industry long term? I'm a believer that advisors, agents, we don't go away. I think the value that we have to give to our clients is ever changing, and a lot of that is due to the internet, because we no longer hold the golden key to space, meaning in our market, at least 120,000 people. When I started in the business, there was no listings online, and I helped encourage to get listings online. Now everybody's online, and the veterans say, well, are you going to list it online? You have to. So we no longer hold that key to where people were like, you had to call the person in order to get access. The internet has the key, essentially, so our value changes.
Right. The value is changing, and it's right as far as a true advisor role is how I feel like it's changing as far as what the art of our business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not just about being in the middle or being in the right place at the right time. It's about providing as much value as possible to the deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't speak to other markets, but within our market and the new age brokerage within our market, I really feel our firm is helping create this new age brokerage within our market specifically, is heavily geared towards teamwork, heavily geared towards collaboration, through market knowledge, through helping clients not just in one single transaction, but as a team throughout their entire lifespan of their commercial real estate endeavors, whether that's leasing, investing, things like that. And in our market, it's been a lot of individuals that have helped these other individuals or companies, and it hasn't been firms created on this teamwork backbone. And so I can't speak to, has this teamwork approach existed in the larger markets? I'm sure it has in some fashion, but we are new age for our market, and I like to think of it as like even our atmosphere, our culture being more like a tech type of company. Like we're it's not the suit and tie every single day, if you will. And I think commercial real estate has most often been related to that, suit and tie type of culture.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's a really good. I was going to ask you, Rivers, exactly that. As far as like you coming from the tech world, I mean, how would you respond to that as far as Bucky?
Well, I was just going to touch on another point real quick, but I was going to say that the market in general, I mean, for decades, it's been cutthroat, and there's been a ton of competition, and I like how people are coming together and working, not even at the same firms, but just working together to get a deal done, or working together to refer a deal if they can't get it done. But there have been some large firms that have done teamwork right. And there are also small teams, but as an industry, I think we're progressing to the point where new blood is coming in, and they're more team-oriented, and they're shaped by the internet more so. They're shaped by people that aren't necessarily in their office.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the internet is helping encourage people to spread their wings in order to do deals outside of just their market. And if I look at our market and the individuals that have done deals within our markets for years and years and years, they haven't broke outside of the Rochester market very far, but now thanks to the internet, their clients are forcing them to break out of their market, because their clients are finding inventory outside of the Rochester market easier, and they're still turning to the trusted veteran advisors, and they're just saying, hey, can you help me here, there, within the state that they're licensed, or if they get licensed in other states. So again, I think that internet thing that we all know now, that we're all able to talk over right now, is leading to continued collaboration, continued eyes being opened within our business that allow people to kind of think outside of just always having to hold your card so closely, because you're afraid if someone sees one of your cards, then they're going to steal the business and you'll never get that opportunity again. So again, it's a little more open-minded, I feel like, and I can't speak for years. I've been in this for only so many years, but I think it definitely is more open-minded related to collaboration.
So let's go around and sum it up. Bucky, in as short a summary as possible, new age of brokerage.
Sum it up and quick as possible. New age of brokerage. The internet is leading to collaboration and growth more than it ever has within brokerage firms.
Okay. Julie, new age of brokerage.
New age of brokerage to me means using these tech tools to be more efficient to then allow you to grow your business and in new ways.
Awesome. And for me, new age of brokerage means that we're starting to see some cool things on the horizon that are just going to, pull down these walls that we have between us and information about buildings and owners and all kinds of things. So it's going to level the playing field for a lot of great brokers out there.
Awesome.
I agree. I like what you said about the walls too, because that's, with me being new to the brokerage side of this industry, I do feel like I'm seeing a lot of that, of the walls of this is my territory, this is my information from that perspective, of whether it be to Bucky's point with the teams as well. Like I want to move more towards that as far as the team and sharing of information, because you could just be stronger that way.
So let me ask you all another question. Do y'all believe that, and we've touched on this a little bit before, but just for the purposes of this episode right now, or this live event, do you think that with enough technology, like View the Space or another platform like Apto, can smaller agencies compete with larger agencies within a given market?
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. You think they can close the gap on?
I think we all are within small firms, so this is a little bit of a bias. But
I guess we have to all say yes, but
I guess I could say that I had a decision as far as joining a larger office versus a smaller office, and purposely chose the smaller because I feel like that, more of you can be more nimble and change quicker. And I mean, and as we know, our business with relationships. I had strong relationships with the firm Foundry that I chose to join, and really wanted to be part of that team. So that really led me to Foundry, but also with that idea of commercial real estate technology is going to change our business quickly, and I feel like a boutique firm is able to grasp that more quick. But that's, again, I feel like I am biased, and I think we all are of a smaller company, so therefore, I think right? I mean, Rivers, you probably could have joined on a larger company as well.
Yeah, I looked at that as well, coming back into the market. But the big word that you said that I picked up on immediately was nimble.
Yeah.
Nimble. But you're definitely seeing that.
Yeah, and the thing I think of is, as much as the internet has helped now the consumer see the inventory, it's helped the agents, advisors see the inventory. I now have clients that have said, hey, can you help me here and there? And I'm like, yeah, let's roll. Like, I can go figure out that inventory from first in my pajamas, and then to the next, like, after I figure out the inventory from home, then when I'm in the market that I've never been to before, I have a general sense of where things are, and I've already mapped them out, and I kind of know the lay of the land, so internet's allowing me to do that.
And those are from relationships that you've built probably with your work in Rochester, right? Right.
For sure. Yep. This is where they land, and then they go, "Can you help me here?" And I'm like, "Yep. Thanks to the internet, I really can. If not, I would have to get in my car and it would be a lot tougher, a lot more difficult."
I have this theory, and I haven't really had a chance to, put it into practice because it's such a large one, but I have this theory that a brokerage firm doesn't necessarily have to be all bricks and mortars, and they don't have to have a large staff unless they're doing a lot of asset management or property management, and a brokerage firm can be a lot more distributed and react more quickly to clients' requests by almost acting remote and not necessarily reporting to one office centrally every day. And then, I feel like with most brokers being in their cars or, like you said, in their pajamas when they can afford to be, then I feel like there's going to be a brokerage model that takes advantage of that and caters to those brokers.
Exactly, I agree. So I got a question for you then, Rivers. We've been talking to an awesome guy, David Townes. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
David Townes.
David Townes,
Yeah.
yes. So David Townes is a great example of, I think, of several people within our industry that he had kind of a pain point of issue of trying to handle his business. What the pain point was, he wanted to map out sites more efficiently, and he just didn't have a tool that did it. So he invested in building that tool, and he's done a good job of it. Shout out to Broker's Map, which is an app.
And I was turned on to it from you guys. Yeah, I've been using it. It's great.
We saw you signed up. So.
Yeah.
So that being said, what would be your suggestion, Rivers, if you're an agent, if there's people within our industry that have these ideas, we're the ones to know the pain points, like we're in it every single day. What's your suggestions of, like, we don't need to go into in-depth detail because I'm sure that could be a whole session in itself, but just to kick it off, what do I do to start trying to solve these issues in the tech world? Like, who should I go to? Where should I look? I don't even know how to start off, so what's your thoughts?
All right, so let's just say I've never, been into tech at all. I'll preface it by saying it before 2013, I was in brokerage for about 4 years, and I didn't really touch technology. I was just mostly, dialing and smiling and, writing a lot of stuff on paper. So I would say that the best way is to, well, obviously to Google it, but the best way is probably to get together with a local brokerage group. So we have a group here for Charleston Trident Association of Realtors, and it's called CID, and they will talk about these new technologies. And we've been fortunate enough for our MLS here to implement some of these new technologies like Catalyst and CRS data, and they are light years ahead of what we were using just 5 years ago. So that kind of stuff, if you have one of those would be the first people I would go to. And if you're old school, go to or new school, whatever, you can go to the Chamber of Commerce, and you can literally, they will give you advice on, they'll point you in the direction. For a lot of people who are just getting into it, I mean, they're analysts or they're interns or junior brokers. I kind of find it hard to believe, and I might be wrong on this. I kind of find it hard to believe that they're not aware that there's good technology out there that they can take advantage of. It should be flying in their face, like every time that they Google. There should be some ad that pops up that says, try my new commercial real estate app. So
going a step further then, so we need to link up on the comments his Snapchat, DCTOWNES. But I think he went to an app developer to come up with his app. Is that, like, my question is, I had an idea of a website that I tried to kick off. I invested money with a local web developer, and it never went anywhere, unfortunately. And now I see a company called Splacer that basically has built out this idea, and it's awesome. Splacer.
That's great.
And here I am as an agent, saw the opportunity, couldn't build it out. So who do I go to in order to figure out, like, the app scene?
Oh,
yeah, that was my question, but cool. I got some valuable answer.
That's a question I can answer very well, I think. The first step is to identify the problems you're having. Like, you understood exactly what kind of pain points you're having and what type of benefits from an application you would seek out. So from that point, going to a developer or going to somebody else with your idea with the idea that you're going to build this is not a good first move. The first move, you would want to conduct is to actually formulate your idea, form it up enough, and then cut off the obvious bad parts to it, the parts that just don't make any sense, and then just go out and talk to as many people about it as possible. I mean, nobody's really going to take your idea and run with it completely. I mean, the chances of that are very slim. Mm-hmm. Get as much feedback from real users, and then once you have a little bit of that and you know the direction you want to head in, start drawing on a piece of paper or wireframes on a computer on something like Balsamiq, and start making layouts for what you think your application would look like, what the interface that you would like to use. And then put all of these layouts, put all of these different PDFs together in clickable wireframes so that you can go around and show these other users, potential users, other brokers, other tenant reps, and say, does this look like it would help you? Is this the type of user experience that would benefit you in your everyday job? Then from there, if you've got something, you should move on to making a prototype, or actually the wireframe should be your prototype, and then moving on to a minimal viable product, which cuts out anything extraneous and only leaves the necessary components for you to get your product across.
So I think what you hit on for me, and it makes perfect sense, like we all relatively can write and draw. When you talk about clickable wireframes, you're way over my head. I talk triple net and square footage. I don't talk clickable wireframes. And so I can draw on a piece of paper what I think I want it to look like, feel like, based on all the websites I've seen over the years, or apps I've seen. And that's where I think we can start in our industry to say, okay, I got this clickable wireframe that's handwritten. Click where you want to click, and let's see if this actually makes sense. And I think that's a great place to start if you may have an idea right now that could be used by commercial real estate professionals.
Yeah, a napkin, a whiteboard, whatever you can use to visualize the interface, and then see if it makes sense. But you got to get validation some way, some kind of validation before you start touching code, even if you're a developer, because then you're just, unless you really just want to develop something and you're a developer. But I wouldn't recommend spending a dime until you've done that.
Perfect. And I think going back to my issue of what I did, I explained my idea to a web developer, and I said, okay, what does it cost to build that? An explanation, no written form, really poor job, and I didn't even get a product that I could show off. And so again, back to the drawing board, I need to draw in detail more. I think I had validated my idea. If you look at Splacer, you'll see what my idea is. It was activating unused spaces, and basically everybody I talked to was like, yeah, there's no way to inventory unused spaces by the hour or by the week or whatever the case was. And yeah, I did a poor job of drawing it out. And one video I watched last week was called Design Disruptors by Envision, designdisruptors.com.
Yeah.
And they talked about how design plays a huge part now in the execution and the overall value that an app delivers.
Yeah.
And it's so big now, and that's essentially kind of what you're starting with this clickable wireframe, is the design of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, and the function of it as well, like clicking part of it is just as much about function as design. But yeah, they go hand in hand.
Cool.
Yeah. There's something else I wanted to say about Broker Maps. So in that case, David Towns had this app developed, and he wasn't necessarily going out with the intention of developing it for anybody else at first. He did get to that point eventually, but he developed it for himself, and he uses it every day. And he has hundreds of properties on his application right now, and he's using it to make commissions. I mean, he's doing deals on this platform for himself. So for him, it was totally worth it. I think he's come out ahead just building this application for himself. It's just like if anybody at a company built their in-house platform and didn't use third-party CRM.
Exactly. Yep, it's a tool he uses every day, and because of that tool, he's become better at his job.
Yeah, he's closed a lot more deals.
That
speaks for itself.
He said, I want to say he emailed me and said he has like 18,000. I mean, there's some crazy number of how many photos he's put in to the app already.
I believe it.
Yeah, for his sites and I guess just sites and properties he's visited.
Yeah, and I don't want to say much else, but I have a feeling that there's more to come with that. So I don't think he's done with that. So.
Well, good.
More to come, Dave. More to come.
More to come. Yeah,
more
Dave.
to come. Definitely.
All right, so I kind of asked the question. Rivers, I think you started off. Julie, what do you got as a topic or conversation you want to?
Sure. Just to close up what we were just talking about as far as the ideas versus execution, I'm involved with a startup incubator here in Raleigh called HQ Raleigh, and that's something that's often talked about is that someone's not going to drop your baby. They're not going to drop their baby to pick up yours. It's really there's ideas out there all of the time, and it's who's gonna run with it, who's gonna dedicate their time, money, effort to make that idea really happen. And so I mean, Bucky, you mentioned this place or idea that someone else is running with now, but I feel like anyone that's got an idea, like share, you got to get that feedback. You got to share those ideas. And Rivers and I had a good talk talking about just some retail type ideas, and they're just ideas until you get that feedback, until you really invest the time to go forward. That's it.
And can we all say like ideas are kind of the easier part? The execution is the tough part. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, that's right. He says that all the time. Yeah. Oh, very much.
There was an app that I developed. I spent like a couple months of my free time that I developed it, and it was basically allowing you to track all your subscriptions, so you knew how much you spent every month on like Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that.
I don't want to know.
And right, yeah. I mean, you can add up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I used it personally, but I realized like if I was going to create this for a bunch of users, they were going to need bank integration so I could get into their accounts and then add up the totals. So I didn't want to do that because it was going to cost me like tens of thousands of dollars and a lot of work.
Right.
But somebody else months later came out with it, and they did the bank integrations. And when I saw that they did that, I wasn't mad. I used their app. I was happy. I was happy that my idea, somebody was out there doing it, and that actually made a difference. So anybody that takes your idea and runs with it, if you're not going to fulfill it, then you should be happy for them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a validity that you had a good idea. It's just right that you weren't invested, but it had some real legs to it. That's cool.
And then now with the internet, you can reach out to whoever came up with that idea very easily and see if you can add your spin to it, right? I mean, you can connect.
Sure.
Right, or invest in it, or go, help it grow. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Julie, what's your question?
Well, it's a plug for the three of us since no one else is listening right now. So
yeah, that's true.
This is the last week to vote for South by Southwest panel picker. Rivers, have you gone before?
I'm gonna have to say that I got to the point where I needed to sign up and I didn't. So to log in and sign up. So I'm gonna go do that tonight.
All right. So yes, please vote for panel picker for it's myself, Real Massive, and Ryan Dennis, and we're trying to get you. Do you know, Bucky, how South by panel picker works?
I don't, and I just saw Splacer do a sponsored post about picking them. So tell me more.
All right. So South by Southwest is held every March in Austin. It's really an international innovation festival is the best way to describe it. It started off, I went to it when it was just a music festival, and it still is. It's an amazing music festival, but now it has changed, and it's an innovation, film, music, just it's a huge collaboration of ideas and a huge party all at once.
Awesome.
If you stay towards that end of it. And, just some, really Twitter is really kind of launched within South by, whenever that was, years ago. And so to be able to speak out South by Southwest is just really, I mean, it's the people you meet there. I went for the first time last year, and I really want to go back. Last year I did a meetup, and I hope to do that again this year, but really want to take it to another level and be a part of a panel. And so that's where you're seeing a lot of those on Twitter right now of panel pickers. 30% of whether or not your idea gets voted into present is from people voting. Okay. So you have to register for a South by Southwest account. I mean, it's like, you just give them your email and then you get registered, and then you can vote for however many ideas you want. So I mainly go on and vote for retail ideas or commercial real estate, but the commercial real estate portion of it is very small. And so that's part of this, is trying to get more visibility towards technology within our industry.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so please vote. And this is the last week. It's not September 2nd is the last time to vote for it.
Has there ever been a CRE panel in the past?
I don't know. Last year 10X did their big launch the week of South by Southwest, and they were very active, but I don't remember them actually having like a panel or other than they were presenting and doing a lot of advertisements, but I don't remember them actually having a panel.
Cool.
Yeah, they did a big party. But I think it's really good. So last year, Commercial Real Estate Technology Intersect had like a happy hour, and there was events, but not official South by Southwest panel.
It would be great if there was like Google Meetups, or what is what I'm looking for?
Lab.
Yeah, there's a basically chapters in every city for hosting an entrepreneur like fireside chat. That'd be awesome if there was some national event that was held in nearly every city, top 100 city, and basically brokers could come and share ideas about the industry.
Yeah, and I mean, Disrupt CRE and CRE Tech Intersect are doing good. I feel like they're doing some good events, but yeah, it's just it's not large enough at this point,
Well, it's not often enough. I mean, it needs to be more on a monthly basis, and it needs to be in more metro areas.
Right. Yeah, I think they have like 5 a year.
But props to them for being the first, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be a first.
Yeah, they're doing good. And so the South by, I think it's going to really help with just visibility and just more conversations to come. The idea from it really came from Ryan Dennis. As far as we were talking, it was the three of us talking of like, all right, what are we going to really focus on? And what was interesting is Snapchat, Bucky, your baby. I feel like with me in the retail industry, shopping centers, I don't understand how they're not all over the Snapchat geo filters. I feel like if you have a large shopping center, I don't understand how you can't have, how you're not investing if you own a large shopping center and not having a Snapchat geo filter. And it was interesting to see the Pokemon Go, how quickly that got so much attention, and that there's all these retailers right away took notice of it, or holding events and and using it to help advertise their business. But yet I have not seen that with other with the social of the Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. Like, you're not seeing that utilized as much, and so that's where the conversation really led to the property go, is what we're calling it, of really really seeing how much that's impacting our industry.
When is South by Southwest next year?
It's March. So it's March 2017. I think it's like March 7th.
I hope that Pokemon Go is still relevant by March.
Well, and that's what we did. We said, what's the next Pokemon Go? What's the next, as far as it's utilizing technologies to advertise your business, to by all means, we left it very open-ended of saying, all right, how are we going to we know that that's a trend, but it's a trend that's going to continue to evolve. It's not. I don't feel it's going away.
No,
it's
not.
just it's going to change. Yeah. So the idea is we're going to have like a giant scavenger hunt leading up to the panel throughout.
Really? Like an ingress?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Should be fun.
So, as we're on Snapchat, something I'm extremely passionate about, the Snap Pack is now a private group, closed group in Facebook for top real estate agents that use Snapchat. I think out of how many members so far? 67. I'm like the only commercial focused. There is one, Justin, who's can't pronounce his last name, the closers team in Canada. He does commercial. He does some sweet commercial stuff. But he does a lot more residential, I believe, as part of his business. So, I mean, shout out to the real estate agents that are using Snapchat, and they're mainly residential, to help their business. It's leading to me to meet up with a group of them in October in Salt Lake City, Utah, to continue these conversations about Snapchat and just forward thinking and marketing. But I think there's a ton of room. Like, if we want to get me excited, let's talk marketing. I'll be going for hours about the opportunity related to marketing. And there's no one doing a great job at it in commercial real estate. It's ridiculous. And so that's where I'm getting my inspiration from, is residential real estate agents that love marketing, that are extremely passionate, which has led to creating another community that I'm involved with that are passionate marketers on Snapchat and other things. So I'll send out an invite to you guys if you want it for the Snap Pack. You can join in and check out the conversations. Today, just looking at the comments right now, one person commented how costs are going up on Snapchat for advertising. So one guy specifically says, "Thanks, Jason. My cost for one geofilter went from $37.50 to $375 for the same location and same time frame. And I'm positive there isn't an event going on at this location. It's my house." LOL. So again, it's interesting to see just how this is changing for the real estate agents that are using it, and I'm in the know.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What is the supply-demand issue?
Yeah.
Snapchat's now popular. Who knows? I'm sure they're going to have to adjust. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
So Bucky, how are these, like, real quick, how are these guys using Snapchat for residential? I'm not in the know on that.
The main people that I see is they're educating either real estate agents or they're educating consumers, and they're mixing in life with that education. And it's back to Gary Vaynerchuk basics. It's providing free value, like through means of the internet, that leads to results, and it leads to brand building, and it leads to sales, and it leads to relationship building, that leads to like all these great things. So I see them using it in a way that's providing value to consumers or to other real estate agents that's helping them personally as well. One guy, I love his business model. He's in England. I don't know how I started following him. He's a graphic designer. He's not a real estate agent. He does awesome stories every single day, and then every once in a while he plugs, "Hey, I can make a custom filter for you." And he gets people inquiring from all over the world that he makes custom filters for, or logos, or whatever the case is. But because he tells epic stories on Snapchat that are entertaining, like he's building his business around it. So I still don't have like a strategy behind my Snapchat. I can't say I have this strategy, but the more and more I watch these people, it's leading to me to come up with maybe what works for me, what my strategy will be, and also it's making me, and I've shared this with both of you before, better on other platforms. So when I decide to hit go on Facebook Live, like, I'm going to be able to talk to the camera and not feel too intimidated. So.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's really interesting though, that here it is, a Snapchat group, but yet you're organized on Facebook.
Yes.
There's no way to make a group of your pack on Snapchat, of like to have more of a conversation within the group.
Right.
Yeah, and it's the same with Twitter. Like, I find out about Snapchat users in commercial real estate through Twitter. I mean, they've got a real problem there of, like, from a growth perspective. Obviously, they've grown leaps and bounds. But I'm saying, as far as to keep me engaged as a user, I want to be able to find other commercial real estate tech without going to Twitter to find it.
So we could jump on this, I guess. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's called Snapdex, SNAPDEX, and it's an index of people that you may be interested in related to their focuses, and it's like the phone book for Snapchat. So a company came up with it. I just added my profile, and I'm interested to see how other people are using it. The other one I've heard of is Ghost Codes. So again, we can. Let's get on there. We've seen it work. This starting of a community that leads to awesome conversations and growth for all of us. So.
Okay. Oh wait, that's really dark. You said you were turning it off, but that's really dark.
This is too dark now.
I gotta turn the lights.
You went from too bright to too dark.
I had this light. It didn't. Here, this is better, I guess. I had this light. It was. I guess I broke the shade on it, and it's just the light bulb was blaring into my eyeball. So
I thought you were like giving us the warning, like the 5-minute warning.
No. I had a really bright overhead light, and I don't have a lamp in here, so I just wanted to kill the light.
Well, that's the beautiful of live. Like you're getting it live in the action, in the wild.
Right now we're live from Charleston, Raleigh, and Rochester, and we have 0 viewers.
That's what it's all about. You got to start somewhere. I love it.
That's great.
Hey, that's what we're saying. It's got to be for us. It's got to be of value to us.
I didn't even send the link to my mom. I'm sorry. I should have at least done that.
This would bore my mom so much. Guys talking about Snapchat? What?
Let's see. Where else could we take this conversation? Maybe any other things you've seen over the last week, just points of interest, and you got something, Rivers, too. But I'm just kind of thinking, I'm thinking kind of, rapid, like, what have you seen? Tell me the stuff you're seeing out there.
There was one thing, and maybe y'all saw this on Twitter or not, but Reonomy I had a demo with Reonomy because I was really interested in finding out more about their data services. And I found out from their rep, they're only available in New York City.
Okay.
And if anybody watches this later, if you want to know about them, Reonomy, REONOMY, they are a service that basically takes all these different data sources, puts them into one place, so you don't have to go out and hunt too much for all this information that's generally publicly available, and some of it's private as well. But I just think that this service would be crucial to my business, and for right now, it's just in New York. I was kind of disappointed. Really excited when they do expand, though.
And did they say they will be expanding?
They just tweeted me back, and they said that their R&D team is always interested in hearing feedback, but
the classic.
Thanks for the feedback.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked up on Crunchbase where they are with series, but I guess it depends on how their next series goes, right? So,
right.
Or their traction.
For Minnesota, it's going to take them years. Like it's like that's not even a thought at this point. So that being said, I think there's opportunity in smaller markets using some of these ideas and figuring out how to create your version of them in your local market or their model to help your business. For example, Splacer, even though it's doing awesome, it's going to take them years, I think, to come to Rochester, Minnesota. So how can I do that?
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. Right, that it can be a version of another idea that is more towards your market size.
Exactly. And I got all kinds of ideas of how I could do that. I mean, and then we just become even more of the powerhouse because we look like we've come up with these great ideas. It's like, well, no, we're just borrowing. We can't make it like them. We're not funded like them, but we have a smaller model.
If you don't have a major league team, a CRE startup is not coming to your market in the next decade.
What else? What are you seeing out there, Julie? What are you seeing in the CRE wild? That's what we're going to call it. What are you seeing in the CRE?
The CRE Wild. Ah, well, I've been, Real Massive does not pay me to wear this shirt. I figured I can, um, I have about 3 CRE tech shirts, so if we do start getting viewers, maybe it would be, maybe we'll all get some additional free shirt swag. But I have been talking with Real Massive. They've been friends for this last year since I met them, and just really interested to see what they're doing. And it goes right into your focus too, Bucky, with marketing. And I find it very interesting as far as what their real focus is. It's much more than just a listing platform. Really, it's how do you better market your properties, and in utilizing new age of brokerage, right?
And they are doing an awesome job of marketing. I'll do that. I'll say that. Like their graphic design, the way that they're creating content, they must have a great team behind them. That's for
Very much. Very much, and yeah, their head of marketing is exactly that. He's on it.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Let's see. What am I seeing in the CRE wild? I guess this is kind of interesting. I'm wondering, do you guys see this in your markets? And there's groups out there that have these national relationships that come into our small market, which we are generally small, 120,000 people, and because they have the relationship, they still play a part in the deal, but they're not necessarily licensed in our state. So they ask that we co-broker with them and take a port, and don't take. They get a majority of it, but they give us something for kind of facilitate. Like, will you open the door for them? Will you take them into the space? When it comes to the negotiations, we really don't need too much help with that. You guys see any of those? I don't need to name names, but I'm just wondering.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All the time. Master brokerage, yeah.
Master brokerage.
Yeah.
And that's a really good question for your local, board of realtors or your real estate commission about what to do in those particular cases. But yeah, I do see it. I haven't done it.
Cool. Anything else in the CRE wild you want to bring up?
Yeah, one thing I did want to bring up real quick is that the PropTech Summit is coming in just over a month, and I'm wondering if any of y'all are going.
PropTech Summit. Where is that one?
It is in New York. Just go to dukelong.com. The top post.
In a month, you said?
Yeah. It's October 5th. There's like 20 events. There's going to be should be thousands of participants.
That's the one I mentioned 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it's CRE Tech Intersect, and then it's a whole week of events that Metaprop is hosting. Well, they're just helping to coordinate it. The Tech New York City week.
I don't have any intentions on going, but ICSC did an awesome job at doing YouTube's videos of conversations. I would hope that those folks would use some video and be able to share it to us people that aren't able to travel there.
Okay. Yes, they did do a good job of that last year.
Yeah, I wish more conferences did that. It's awesome, and they can reach a wider audience, and they can even do it for free, honestly, with how cheap it is to do a web conference, and then just get sponsors. I know Sales Hacker's done that before, and they just lined up a bunch of AAA speakers from all over the place, and they just knocked it out of the park. That would be a hell of a way to get a lot of interest from the community.
Yeah, I agree. Well, good. Well, I am definitely attending it this year, and hopefully we can get you there too, Rivers. So
you're going to New York this October?
Yes, I'm there October 6th for CRE Tech Intersect that evening.
Awesome. So you got to report on it. By the way, there's if you can give some details about some of the startups that are going to be pitching, there's actually a pitch competition as well.
Okay, definitely.
So if you can cover that, that'll be your assignment.
Oh, I'll have my first assignment on location.
Yeah. I think we should all have assignments, but that'll be yours.
You're gonna probably have to do a Google Live as you're on location. I mean, if they're not doing video, you're gonna have to be the curator of the video.
All right, I'm on it.
Yeah, please do actually share some of those pitches. And
we'll be watching your Snapchat closely for your Snapchat interviews.
Will do. Oh, cool. All right, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I gotta sign off here in a minute. Is there? We're gonna do the same bat time, same bat place next week.
Yeah, next week. So this is really just kind of like the recorded version. It's not live. We didn't pump it out to all of our friends and family. It's just, we're kind of doing a dry run here. But we are going to put it up on, our Twitter feeds and our Snapchats and wherever else we want to. And next week, seeing that I think it went pretty well. Bucky, I think, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's awesome, and I think this is the start of something great.
Yeah, definitely. Next week, I will probably go to my co-working space where they have better lighting and a very reliable Wi-Fi connection.
Which co-work space do you work out of?
I work out of the Harbor Entrepreneur Center on King Street.
Cool.
They're actually moving. And some of the people, if you're watching this, or maybe y'all know of them, but Boomtown is a pretty popular platform in residential real estate, and they're going to be moving in next door or in the same building as Boomtown pretty soon. So.
Cool. Well, because I know HQ Raleigh is negotiating space in on King Street in Charleston right now too. I don't know where, but I know that like somewhere within that space, and I've been very happy with them.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's good to hear. The more the better. I think that's definitely the way to go.
And then just one last thing before we sign off, because we are live, we have to. I just want to say, I think we do. What state are you licensed in? Like, I'm licensed in the state of Minnesota with Realty Growth Incorporated. This is a form of marketing, us doing this live video.
Sure. Julie, go ahead.
I am sitting for my test next month, but my team is licensed within the Southeast, but especially here in North Carolina.
Okay. I am a licensed broker in the state of South Carolina with Evans, Rivers & Company, LLC, doing business as ERC, Commercial Real Estate.
Great.
We are CREvolve on a Google Hangout. Is that the show title?
CREvolve.
CREvolve.
Awesome.
Adapt or get out of the way.
Love it.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.